Welcome to today's podcast series, Global Education and Career Management. This is episode number 2, and the title of podcast episode number 2 is Overview of the Global Educational Opportunities. Overview of the Global Educational Opportunities. My name is still Daniel Obi, the presenter. So also the outline of uh, a presentation include about 7 sections. So it's structured in such a way as to help you to take you. It's part of lifelong learning. Section 1, introduction. Section 2, what are the drivers of education, global educational and career opportunities? Section 3, what are the learning opportunities in the globalized world? Section 4, what are the considerations to assess the global education opportunities? Section 5, the role of finance. Section 6, the unwritten rule. And Section 7, the summary. Okay, let's go. Let's start with introduction. That's section 1. But we'll start with the recap of episode 1. We'll start with Dr. Miles Morun quotation. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without a purpose. Let me repeat it again. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without a purpose. So in episode number 1, we were able to look at 3 value proposition, which has to do with number 1 value proposition is self-resource management, where we said that you are the most important resources, so you have to manage yourself. The value proposition number 2 is education career opportunities dynamics. So you have to watch out, be careful for the trend, the education and career involving a trend. Then number 3 value proposition is for you to be a person of value. Also, we will now look at understanding global education dynamics, where we looked at 3 things: the purpose of education for you, which may be different from your society, which may be different from your nation. Focus on your definition or your purpose. Then the second is possible education outcome. You have to pay attention to possible education outcome. How many of the possible education outcome do you have? Okay, how society and nation view education. So you have to look at how does your own society view education, and how does it affect you as a minority, as one of the people that also your education plan. Then we looked in episode 1, we looked at the drivers. What are the drivers? What should be the driving your education and career plan? You have to, your education goal, you have to set education goal, set it. Then number 2, your career dream. What is your career? Then number 3, leverage both for global opportunity. So you have to look at your career and education goal in order to leverage both. So now today, what are you going to learn in episode 2? In episode 2, which is the title of episode 2 of this podcast, is Overview of the Global Education Opportunities. So what are you going to learn today? You will be learning what are the factors that drive education and career opportunities. It's very important. What are the factors? You have to know them, take note of them. Then also, what are the types of academic programs you can pursue? So we'll be looking at different academic programs that you can pursue, options. Then number three, what you are going to learn is what are the selection criteria you must have to succeed. So you have to be aware, because these rules have been set even before you are born. So you have to know them and how each of them affect you and your ranking. Then what you're going to learn also is the importance of funding in securing both admission and study permit. So it's very important, funding. Okay, so we'll start. So in section 2 of today's podcast, we'll be looking at what are the drivers of global education and career opportunities. What are the first driver is the drivers of global education opportunity. So number one is disruptive technologies and economic growth. So it is the technology that drives the career or the what you call job scale requirement. So you have to pay attention. We'll be looking at this when we start talking about career exclusively. Then number two, we'll be looking at demographics challenge. A lot of countries they have good educational facilities, but they're having a demographic challenge. Then also the third factor is economic benefit. They would call it education for profit. So you have to be aware, in some countries like in Britain, most of the universities or polytechnics have been converted into universities are purely for profit. So if they're giving you admission, it's just pure for profit. We call it education for profit. Then number four driving factor is talent hunt. Most countries like US, look, if you're very smart, if you show evidence of academic aptitude, you've demonstrated academic excellence, you may likely, these are the things that will drive, you have opportunities waiting for you. Then cheap labor. Yeah, in some countries that are highly developed, they bring in people through education in order to provide cheap labor. Then that's number five. Then number six is political consideration or inclusion, as the case may be, or if you like, persecuted people. Sometimes you could be given admission just because you are from a particular ethnic group that are being persecuted. So these are the driving factors. So when you look at the demographic challenge, you will observe the amount of how the European, the developed economy, their population is going down. You see, most of the developing countries, their population is going up. So if you are looking for opportunity, check out this. It's a very big factor. Then also, you have to, if you look at the disruptive technologies and economic growth, so you see what we call industrial revolutions. We have so we are currently in fourth industrial revolution with what we call disruptive technologies. So you have to check the profession, your career, is it related to the current industrial revolution? These are what these are what are driving the economic growth. So then if you look at the fourth factor, which is disruptive technologies, you see, in some countries, you could look at the amount of what country generates by bringing in foreign students. So when you look at, and this thing changes, so you have to be careful. So the economic impact of international students always target where your impact will contribute to the economy. Then the fifth one is talent hunt. So you could see skills, the careers that that from now to 2025 that will be part of. If you have skill in this career or you want to pursue this career, then you have chance of moving into these educational and career opportunities. Then persecuted people, war. If your country is in war and you are smart, try to look for opportunities, career and education opportunities. If you are in refugee camp, if you have a way of trying to study very hard, it could be a reason why you'll be given admission. Then indigenous people. So these are the some of the factors, not exclusive. Then we'll look at section number 3. What are the studying opportunities in a globalized world? So the summary of the studying opportunities I categorize them into 3: the undergraduate degree programs, graduate degree programs, and postdoctoral programs. So undergraduate degree programs, we divided it into 2. There's one we call diploma, and that diploma is like in US they call it associate degree. Then you have a first degree, which is popularly called bachelor degree. Then in graduate degree program, we have postgraduate diploma, the master's degree, which could be taught or normal or by research. Then you have a doctorate degree. And so I want to take it so that, because it's very important, this is I want to take time to explain this. So undergraduate degree programs, so there are requirements. I want you to pay attention to requirements. If you're going for diploma, associate degree, maybe you want to do a 2-year program, you have a family. So what are the requirements? You need a secondary school certificate. Is very important. High school certificate for diploma program, 2-year or 1 year, or associate degree as the case may be. Then what are the duration of from 1 to 2 years? Then in some cases you may need English language proficient test. They have to know, okay, we'll come to that. Then for those of you that want to go to France or Belgium, you need to show French language proficiency test. And but for standardized exam, in most cases they don't require it for diploma or associate degree. But if you are going for first degree, bachelor degree in any, what are the requirements? Part of the requirement, you need a high school certificate or secondary school certificate, or you need A level, advanced level, or you need even associate degree or diploma. These are the prerequisites. Then how many years? The duration of the first degree program is between 3 to 4 years. So if you enter with A level, it will be a year less than, or if you enter with a diploma. So now there are some requirements. If your country national lingua franca is not English and you are going to study in English university, you need language proficient test. You have IELTS, you have TOEFL, OPT, and others. So we'll look at them in details. Also, if you are going to French, like if you are coming to Quebec, part of France, Quebec, part of Canada, where I stay, then, or if you are going to France or Belgium, if the university is in French, then you need a French language test. Then for those of you, for you to get admission in public university, you need to take standardized exam, what you call standardized exam. Example is SAT, ACAT. So below you see the full name of this that I've mentioned. So that's all about undergraduate degree. Then for graduate degree program 1, so what happened is that I picked a graduate degree program. We now divided it into postgraduate diploma and master's degree, and also PhD and postdoctoral. So if you are pursuing a graduate degree, that's either master's. So the question is, how do you know whether to go for master's, which type of master's, and postgraduate, to go for postgraduate diploma, graduate diploma? So, but for the sake of comprehensive information, so at this table in green, you look at we have postgraduate diploma, third master's degree. Third master's degree is a master's degree that is just for 1 year. You don't need to do to write a thesis. You just do coursework and do a project. That's all. Then you have normal master's degree program. In normal master's degree program, you do both thesis and coursework. Now we have another type of masters we call MPhil or MLit, master for those in liberal arts. So this MPhil is more of research. Maybe after doing your first masters, you want to do PhD. You didn't get the GPA for a PhD, then you can do MPhil before going to do your PhD. Or alternatively, if you are doing a PhD and for one reason or the other you may not advance, but you have a good work, they may decide, okay, this your work is not good for PhD, but it's good for MPhil. So there's another type of masters which is called MBA, Masters in Business Administration. It's not really a professional, it's not an academic master, it's for industry primarily. Now, so if you are going for postgraduate diploma, there are requirements. We have what we call prerequisite academic requirement. What is the duration? Language? Do you need language test requirement? Standardized exam? Do you need to have a publication, work experience, membership of academic association, leadership, tuition, leadership position? So for you to stand a chance for postgraduate diploma, the duration is 1 year. In some cases, in some countries, you may need, but not compulsory, you may need language exam, either English or French. Then also standardized exam is optional. In most cases, you may not. Number of publication, no. Work experience, yes. It will help you. The membership of academic association, not necessarily. Leadership position, yes. Do you need to submit a resume? Yes. Okay. So now we'll look at third master's degree. Third master's degree, we have a bachelor. For you to get admission for third master's degree, you need bachelor degree. Duration is between 1 to 2 years, and of course you need IELTS, especially if you want to go for public universities, Ivy League universities. Sorry. Okay. So also, if you are going to study in France or part of Canada, you need to study. You need to write a French test. The next question is that, do you need a standardized exam like GRE? Yes, you need GRE. So you have, but there is a special, for those of you that want to study something like medicine, there is a competitive exam. That's why I listed it. We'll talk about that one. Also, if you have publication, it will put you in a good position to get admission. Also, if you have work experience, good. Membership of academic association will advise, but it's not compulsory. Leadership position, yes, but not compulsory. Research proposal is not compulsory. Resume, yes, you have to include your CV. Okay. Then there's normal masters that one lasts between 2 or 3 years. It is more competitive. You need to show both language proficient, that is IELTS, TOEFL, TCF, that's for French, DEL, below you see the full meaning. Then for standardized exam, yes, you need to take GRE and GMA depending, but GRE is okay. We call it graduate record exam. Then publication is important. If you have it, fine. Work experience, yes. Membership of academic, yes. Leadership, position. Then another thing we have to look at is MPhil and MBA. So please kindly go through. I have provided this for you to go through it. So the number graduate degree program number 2, which is PhD and postdoc. But I want to say something. There are some you have 2 types of or even 3 types of PhD. There's normal PhD, which is doctorate of philosophy. Then we have a specialized PhD like MPhil, no, LLD, that is for those that study law. We have a DPharm. So these are specialized. I just want to mention it. But there's a difference between PhD in law and LLD. There's a difference between PhD in pharmacy and DPharm. So, and there's another type of PhD they call a doctorate of science. So when you look at it, you discover that the important things I want you to know is that for you to obtain admission and possibly scholarship in a PhD, you ought to and you need to have a high score in IELTS, TOEFL, for French is TCF, DELF, and all that. Then you also need to write standardized exam. GRE is very important. Your score is very important. What's the duration? In Europe, it's 3 years PhD, but in North America, it ranges from 3 to 5 years. Sometimes it could extend to 6 years in North America. And what are the other requirements? For those of you, if you have a journal publication, it gives you advantage in ranking. If you have work experience, when we say work experiences, are you teaching in academic? If you have academic position or teaching, it also gives you advantage. And also, what's the number of publications? Sometimes you need to put your research proposal, but it's not mandatory. But when you start going into something like doctorate of science, your PhD research proposal is very, very important. So we'll move to another section 4. So having looked at having overview, so we'll be looking at what are the considerations to assess the global education opportunities. Now you know if you want to do masters, you know the requirements. If you want to do PhD, you know the requirements. If you want to do masters, the question is that do you want to do a postgraduate diploma or third masters or masters by research? You see, so now what are the selection metrics? It's very important for you to know. If you submit your application, the people that are going to give you admission, there are things they will be looking at. They do ranking. What are likely to be your ranking? So there are 4 major selection metrics. I'm not saying that's the all, but I just mentioned 5. Academic profile. They want to look at your academic profile. And also they want to look at your work experience. Maybe you are doing a PhD, you're already a lecturer in your country, and the other person also is not a lecturer. So these are the variables that could affect your chances. Academic or professional association affiliation. Okay, you study engineering and you are lecturing. Are you a member of engineering association of your country? So if you are not, please try to join. If you study biochemistry, join. Then another thing is leadership and community service profile. So maybe what, apart from the academic work you are doing, what other leadership position, what is your influence in your community? Then your referees profile. Maybe if you have all these things and your referee is studied in MIT or Harvard and the person gives you reference, it's not the same as somebody that studied in a unknown university. Okay, so let's start with, I want to break down this selection matrix. The first thing is, for those of you, your degree classification is very important. Bachelor's degree, do you have a first class honors? Is very important. If you have, first class, it means that all 3 undergraduate days you scored from 20 to 100%. So it's very. Then the second ranking is second class honors, upper division. So if you don't have first class, do you have a second class upper division? Then thirdly, do you have a second class honors, lower division? Then third class. In some countries, after third class, they have what you call merit. Now, not merit, I'm sorry, pass. There are some countries that instead of 4 bachelor degree classification, they have 5. Then at master's degree level, the ranking is distinction. So if in your masters, if you have distinction, that's the highest ranking, followed by merit. You could see the score, the raw score. Then you also pass and failure. Then that's on. Then number 3 is doctoral degree classification, whether in your PhD score, coursework, you must score 60 and above. If you score anything less than 60 in your coursework, then that's fair. Then thereafter, there's what you call a comprehensive examination. That's especially in North America. Maybe after 2 years or 1 year and a half, you have to face examination for them to know, okay, whether you are competent to continue or not. Then PhD dissertation defense. So this is what does come under academic profile. So what are they looking at academic profile? The class of your degree. So whether you have first class or not. Then the second is language competence. What's your score? Then number 3 is standardized test score. Number 4 is publication, whether you have a publication or not. Number 5 is academic conferences, whether you attended or not. Then is academic association affiliation. So I've discussed number 1, degree classification. Then, okay, section 4 is we're still on section 4. What are the considerations to assess the global education opportunity? So we've looked at the class of a degree. Then we're looking at language score test for English. So there are 2 majorly. We have International English Language Testing System. This is conducted in Britain. There's another one, Test of English as a Foreign Language, TOEFL. That is an American conducted exam. Then we have CELP. That one is conducted in Canada. So if you decide to take IELTS, the score range is from 0 to 9. So if you make sure the pass mark is from 6 to 9, but if the highest ranking is 9, but acceptable, the least ranking that is acceptable is 6. So make sure you score between 6 and 9. So if you are writing this exam, there are 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So they will score you and give you what you call overall band. So that's number 1 test score. Then you have option: either you go for IELTS or you go for TOEFL. Then the TOEFL score range is different, is from 0 to 120, but they also test your listening ability, your reading, your writing, speaking. So the total score is 120. So make sure the ranking is for those of you reading is 30, listening 30, speaking 30, writing is 30. So if you score from 20 for reading, you could see in purple from 20 to pink, from 20 to 30 is advanced, 18 to 23. So I have already given you under this table for you to go through, so that when you register for this exam, make sure that your score is very high so that you are ranking. Then for Canada, Canadian English Language Proficiency Index program, you have 2 types. General test is used for permanent residents. Then the other one, general LS test, is used for Canadian citizens. So you could see for the first one, the general test, the test is listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And the score is between, if you make sure pass mark, the base score is 7. If you score from 7 upward, it's acceptable. The highest rank is 12. But for CELP General LS, which is used for a citizenship exam, is only listening and speaking. So make sure in language test you score high. Then also we have the other consideration is what we call standardized exam. So for undergraduate level, you have SAT score. So the minimum is 400 and the maximum, that is for you to be considered at all, is 1,600. So if you score from 1,400 to 1,600, is regarded as a perfect score. So it's ranked from, you see the ranking for first degree. But for you to, if you are going for master's, PhD, graduate admission, then you will take GRE. So in GRE is this is between 260 and 340. So there is verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, analytical writing. So these are the 3 different testing. So, and you expect to look at the score. The highest ranking is 170 for each. For verbal reasoning, for quantitative reasoning, the highest ranking is 170. For analytical writing, the highest score is 60. Is 6, not 60. I'm sorry. So now, if you are going for for MBA or for masters or in management sciences or non-science, so you can also take graduate management admission test, GMAT. So you could see the ranking. So the highest rank is 800 score and 750. So make sure you score from 650. The higher you score, the more chances you have. Okay. So the another factor is publications. So why do I mention academic and non-academic Publication? Because they publish research work, you can publish it in what you call peer review articles in journal, conference proceeding articles, oral or poster presentations, and textbook contribution. These are the what you call published research work and peer reviewed. So if you have any of these or many of these, it gives you advantage in the ranking, in admission process and scholarship. Then if you don't have it, look at unpublished research work. All the 10 papers you wrote, please take note of them, put them in your CV. Your research work that were not published, like thesis, dissertation, the newspaper articles. If you have published, please put them in your CV, in as much as they are not peer reviewed, but at least it's something. It measures your ability to write. So the next question in the ranking is what you call membership of academic professional association. Like as I've said, become a member of academic and professional association related to your course. So when we're looking at your work experience, are you currently working? Are you currently a student? If you are, maybe you are still doing your master's and you are applying for a PhD, in that case, you include that you are current student. So if you are working, the next question is, what is the nature of work? Is it in academic, in opposition, or in industry? Then if it is in industry, maybe you study engineering and you are working. So the question is this: is your work related to your engineering discipline? Maybe you study in electrical engineering and you're working in the food industry. See, there is a problem there. Avoid unemployment status, especially those of you from a developing country. If you want to apply for scholarships and graduate school, if you are not working, go and find teaching. Teach. It is better. So the next question, the next parameter to judge your application is leadership and community service profile. Do you have a leadership position you held in school, or faith-based organization, or charitable organization? Please make sure you see these are the things. Put it in your CV, because it shows somebody that is organized. Then are you involved in volunteer activities? Find something in your religious organization. Find people in your neighborhood. You can start teaching people. If you are good in mathematics, you are good in English language, you are good in economics, start teaching students. Involved in environmental cause. These are volunteers. So especially in a country where you have high unemployment rate, instead of being unemployed, doing nothing, be involved in volunteer activities. Then the other one is academic profession affiliation. Join professional ranking association as a student. For instance, Materials Research Society of India, Chinese Materials Research Society, or I'm just giving an example. Join international academic professional association like Royal Historical Society UK. These things cost money, but try. If you don't have money, write them. Tell them, okay, you're from a country that you want to be part of them. Who knows? Also, your referees profile. Make sure that as you are graduating, have lecturers that taught you. Please, I want you to be in my CV. You know, what is the work experience of your so normally they always ask you to bring two academic references, two persons that have taught you, that know about your academic ability. Then also try to get, if you're working, maybe your manager or somebody in a high position that can attest to your work ethics. Okay, leadership or volunteer position. Then the profile of your referee. Make sure, try to get referees who is professor. Then, or if you can't get it, a faculty with a PhD. And maybe make sure that also your referees where he studies as important. Okay, so we'll go to the role of finance. This is section 5. So having see what they are looking for, what the conditions. So the next thing is financial considerations. It's very, very important. The role of finance. This is section 5. The role of a finance in achieving your education or career goals. So the first major financial consideration, tuition fees, is very important. Some countries, their tuition fees high for international students. If you are not citizens or permanent residents. So then what are the other student fees? The cost of books. That's number one major financial consideration, tuition fees. The second major financial consideration is living expenses. How much will it take for you to survive in a year? Sometimes it could be more than the tuition fees, like feeding, monthly transportation costs, housing, utility, health insurance. Okay, so there are other what we call minor financial considerations. So these minor financial consideration costs include cost of acquiring supporting documents, standardized language, because for you to write those TOEFL or GRE, it costs something. So you have to, we call it minor cost. Then admission process. If you're applying for university to consider you, you have to pay them maybe $100, $75 as case may be. So the other minor expenses is post-admission process expenses. So when you've got admission, there are other expenses. We call it study permit, through visa application, police criminal certificate. It differs from one country to the other. Medical examination, it differs from one country to the other. Transportation, flight ticket. So these are then the financial consideration. So for the next thing is the study permit and visa approval depend on the issues. So if you're applying for study permit, what do you intend to finance? How do you intend to, so these are the questions you need to ask yourself and answer. How do you intend to finance your study abroad? Are you coming with scholarship from your country or from the country where you are going to study? Is it your father or your mother that is sponsoring you? Is it an uncle or is it a company who will sponsor you? Individuals such as parents, relatives, siblings. So another point is instructions such as school, company, foundation. Then do you need a scholarship? So if you need a scholarship, then we'll help you to go through the process. So you could see that this episode number 2 is long. The reason is because we really want to exhaustively discuss everything you need to know. So the summary. So we've come to the summary of this. So we'll start with number 1 is economic direction influences career prospect. So maybe 5 years ago, the career prospect of 5 years ago is not the same. In the next 10 years, what is good, career that is good may not be the same. So you have to know that the economic direction influences it. The second point that I want you to take home with this presentation, that career opportunities influences educational goals. That whatever you want to study, your educational goal must match with your career opportunities. Number 3, global studying opportunities include undergraduate programs, graduate, masters, or PhDs. And also, there are different types of masters and different types of PhD. So that's why you need to go through our presentation in order to know which one will be good for you. Number 4, selection matrix include degree, certificate. So the ranking, do you have a first class? Do you have a second class upper division? Do you have a second class lower division? Do you have third class? I wish you say it. I don't want to discourage anybody. Even if you don't have first class or second class, come to us. Please follow, listen to us. You are going to see there is opportunity for you. Also, language test score is very important. You are ranking. Standardized test score is also important. Work experience. The last but not the least, the importance of funding or scholarship for studying. So if you don't have secure source of funding, you can listen to us, follow us for our scholarships update. And finally, please, if you like what we're doing, try to give us likes, try to subscribe to this channel, and try to check our podcast and download it in different platform. And more importantly, please put your comment. I want to hear your comment.